And I believe I am live. Hi, my name is Tyriece Simon, and this is the recap live reaction for UFC Vegas 46. Coming in here solo to cover Giga Chikadze versus Calvin Kader. Also, some UFC news going on today in the world. Bunch of fights announcements, bunch of fights announcements going up until it seems like the spring, maybe even the summer. I have some predictions on that. Uh, welcome, little guys. Welcome, you guys, slowly coming in. I want to do a live stream for you guys. One, because this is the first stream I'm doing since the beginning of the new year. Also, it's been a while. It's been a while. Like the last time I did a show for you guys to put anything on here was I believe whenever Menunez lost the title, I believe that was UFC uh 270, 269. I believe it was 269. Vlad Posner's already here. Don't giving you the little flash of the muscles there. Good to see you, Vlad. Happy New Year's. Yeah, man, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. So I'm glad to be on here. Let's start with some announcements on the channel. Let's start with that, right? So you're gonna hear people talking in the background, shit like that. Um, can't do anything with that. Also, hope you like the background. Little change in the background. Um, so the last one to you guys. There's a lot. There was some stuff I'm working on behind the scenes regarding this channel, uh, regarding on what I'm doing in the MMA space that I'm still working on. Apparently, I'm still working on that. I still have to connect with somebody, and as soon as I could give you guys more information on what the next thing I'm working on regarding MMA, I got to be really careful how I phrase these things. Um, I'll let you guys know. Um, but I am working on something. I was in contact with somebody from a MMA publication. I'll just say that. Um, and we're talking. We're talking. So the hope is with me possibly working with this MMA publication that I could do more interviews. I will have more. I'll be able to stream a lot more and do a lot more within the MMA space. Um, and that I could do more content for you guys. I do. You want to check some of the stuff I do? I do pro wrestling for SE Scoops. That I can say. Um, and I am trying to get work with another publication regarding MMA, and you know, do interviews and sponsors from there, and then kind of put out stuff from that side. So, kind of like what I was doing early on. If you remember, I did a lot of interviews, and then some of the interviews turned into more independent stuff. But I will, like to do interviews for other publications. So, um, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm being careful what I say and how I say. I want to give things away, and I don't want to say things prematurely. But it's looking good. It's looking good so far. So we'll see. But no, yeah. It's the channel's going good. I'm hoping to stream a little bit more. We have a prediction show. Me and Elijah did a prediction show a day ago, 2 days ago. Regarding Francis Ngannou and Cyril Gane, which I think we did like 30 minutes plus on that. So we'll have that out tomorrow. Uh, an interesting conversation. I think we both pretty much picked the same person winning for different reasons. So that'll be interesting to see if you guys hit your thoughts on it, who y'all think wins. We get Cyril Gane and Francis Ngannou. Um, I feel like that fight is not. It's not really Cyril Gane versus Francis Ngannou. It's more the UFC versus Francis Ngannou. And I think Francis Ngannou has done a great job promoting this fight. I'll say that. I'll say that. So it'll be interesting to see what you guys' reaction to the prediction show is and who you guys have winning. All right, now let's get into UFC Vegas 46 that we seen last night. We saw Calvin Kader versus Giga Chikadze in a 5-round fight in the main event. Gigachikazy stepping up big time against Calvin Kader. Calvin Kader coming off of the loss against Max Holloway. And Gigachikazy's on the rise, beat Edson Barboza, beat Cub Swanson, beating a bunch of these guys to get into his position. The UFC, to give you a little background, the UFC has been promoting and uh talking up and hyping Giga Chikadze as the next up and comer for the featherweight contendership. Um, they have him in a bunch of commercials, big part of the promotion, um, touting his kicks. You can't go on social media or go on your YouTube channel without seeing highlights of Giga Chikadze in there. I feel like the spotlight was really, really on Giga Chikadze, especially where we're going to talk about it a little bit later on, where we have Alexander Volkanovsky without an opponent. Gigachikazy was the one that was stepping up, saying, "Hey, I could beat Kevin Kader, and then I'll go and beat you for the title," which that's not happening at all. But no, the UFC was definitely pushing, and I felt like Giga Chikadze, his momentum and the hype behind him was really going behind him into this fight. Calvin Kattar was a guy that was coming up a loss. He seemed to get absolutely not obliterated, but he had a bad outing against Max Holloway, where he looked battered, broken. Um, After that fight, and he took a year off, which was smart. Took a year off, let himself recover, let himself get back right in the right headspace. And this is a year off fighting against a guy surging as a contender, possibly, and even people were talking about him fighting for a title. So this is a big fight. It was a very, very big fight for the first card of 2022. Um, and I say the main event delivered. The main event delivered. Calvin Kattar beats Giga Chikadze by unanimous decision. I believe some of them was 50-45s, 50-45s. I have the stats here. 50-45, 50-45, 44-50. Okay, for Calvin Kattar. And one of the things that I talked behind the scenes with Elijah, because Elijah, me and Elijah talked about this fight beforehand on Friday, and I asked him who he had, and Elijah said he had Giga Chikadze. And he asked me, and I said, well, I would pick Giga Chikadze, but we have yet to see how Giga Chikadze does against somebody that is going to be in his face. I think has better boxing, and I think we have yet to see or yet to answer how will Giga Chikadze react when he's dealing with adversity. Not only adversity, but also dealing with somebody that has the boxing, and you may not be able to get those kicks off in the way that you want to, or be as technical as you want to, because somebody is walking you down and moving forward. We've seen that with Max Holloway, and we've seen that with Jeremy Stevens also. Not even put that further, where Calvin Kattar is able to get in your face, make it a fight, and you are on your back foot, and you have to try to react to that and deal with that pressure. And Gigachikaze loves to throw kicks. He loves to throw body kicks. He loves to try to go to the body and then try to go to the head, like throw leg kicks. Gigachikaze like you lose his legs. He has hands too, but the real talent that makes him special is his kicks. Um, and Calvin Kattar, I thought was going to do a good job of staying in his face and making it a fight to where Giga Chikadze is not going to have the time to be able to land those kicks or be as perfect as he wants to be. And I think for the most part, I pretty much nailed it. I think Giga Chikadze also showed he has heart. I think Giga Chikadze also showed that when dealt with adversity, he can fire back. But there's a difference between Calvin Kattar and Giga Chikadze in that aspect of just like I think Calvin Kattar was throwing the cleaner shots. As you got to like round 3, 4, 5, I thought Calvin Kattar was throwing the cleaner shots where Giga Chikadze is reacting a lot because he's on his back foot. And Calvin Kattar was looking for the perfect moments to land some of these clean shots on him. Where I think Calvin Kattar was just trying to throw back and trying to get him off of him. Um, I also thought that Calvin Kattar using his wrestling, which I didn't predict, I thought using the wrestling aspect of it as well, also uh, made Gigachikaze question what Calvin Kattar was going to do. And I think that kept Gigachikaze out because he got taken down, I believe, twice, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he got taken down at least twice. Um, and I think it made Gigachikazy guess a little bit on what Kader was going to do, and I think I kept him honest. Um, and you know, credit to Giga Chikadze also. We've seen him with good takedown defense. You know, something we wanted to, as well. He's able to defend some of the takedowns too, but overall, I think Cavalcado overloaded him a little bit, and I think the pressure, I think just the volume and what Cavalcado was throwing, I think being able to stay in his face, roll some of the punches as well. Again, I'm sorry you can hear stuff in the background. Um, and I think he was able to outpace Giga Chikadze. You know, it makes you kind of think, how will this fight play out against Alexander Volkanovsky, who's somebody that loves that pressure, somebody that has good striking. Maybe a little bit different because I think Volkanovsky likes to use leg kicks too. I think that may leave him a little bit vulnerable against a guy like Gigachikazy, who I think has the height advantage. But I think that Kader was the I would say the worst opponent for Gigachikazy for right now, other than probably Max Holloway, which I think would also be a problem. Hold on for 1 second. Sorry about that. Um, but yeah, I thought Giga Chikadze, you know, he was dealing with a lot of adversity, and he was able to you know stay with it, stay with it for the most part. Um, yes, no, yeah, the spinning elbows were great. Fly politics, the spinning elbows were great. Um, you know, that's one of the things that I think Cavalcater has perfected. And not even just spinning elbows, like you'll see him hit him with a an elbow, um, in those close exchanges. He's just using a lot more tools in his game with his striking. You know, the elbows in the clinches, the elbows, the spinning elbows. He would just try to throw the elbow out there, see just to cut up Giga Chikadze, which he did. Um, I think Cavalcater, I think he's becoming synonymous with the ability to just throw elbows in his fights, and I think that's something that the UFC, if they wanted to, could promote, is somebody that you know will use has good striking in his hands, but also his elbows. He cuts you up and slice you. No, I thought Cavalcater really showed out with this fight, and you know, now it goes to, where does Cavalcader and Gigachikaze goes from here? For Cavalcater, I think he's right back in the mix. Um, you know, Cavalcater right now is ranked number 5. I think the fight that makes sense would be him versus Brian Ortega. I think that would be a good fight. Um, that could I would love to see that actually as a main event. Him versus Brian Ortega's first fight back against Cavalcater, um, sometime in the summer. I think that'd be a great fight. Um, that should be a main event. That should be a fight night main event for sure. Um, but I think that's the natural next step for Cavalcater is uh, Brian Ortega. I think that's the natural next step. For Giga Chikadze, I I would like to see Giga Chikadze fight somebody like a, you know, he takes a step back a little bit. I don't think it's too far of a step back. I would like to see Giga Chikadze maybe fight a Arnold Allen if he could come back. I think a fight that would be interesting to see is how Ila Tapora, how he does in his next fight. He's somebody that's on the rise too. I think Ila Tapora is somebody that should look out for at the featherweight division. Um, you know, maybe do him if he wins his next fight, or uh, I would say Yair Rodriguez, but I don't know. I don't know. Let me ask you guys: Do you think Giga Chikadze should fight somebody again within the top 5, or should he go back down and fight somebody below him? That's the thing, because like this fight, even though he lost, I don't think his stock went down really. Um, and I think he had a good showing. I think he proved that he can deal with adversity. He didn't get dropped. He didn't get knocked out. Um, he just got bested by Calvin Kader. So I don't think his stock dropped really. You know what I mean? I think he's still there. Um, so I don't know. Maybe they do Yair Rodriguez. Maybe they do, 'cause I think that'd be an exciting fight. Two guys that love to kick, two guys that are exciting fighters. Um, Gigachikazy getting a rebound fight against Yair Rodriguez. Yair Rodriguez trying to get back into momentum. I think he had a good showing against Max Holloway, which we'll talk about in a second. So I think that's an interesting fight. But again, it depends on what the public perception is. Like, does Chikadze deserve another top five top five opponent? You know, I believe Kader is ring number five. So does Giga Chikadze deserve another top five opponent? I think that's a question to be asked. So we'll see. We'll see. But if not Yair Rodriguez, a guy like Arnold Allen, maybe you put Sadiq Yusuf if he could get healthy or he's back. Or maybe you do Ila Tapora if he wins his next fight. Maybe you give him versus Gigachikazy. Sorry. Um, Still a frightening presence. Yes, he is. I think Gigachikazy does give people some problems. I just think there are certain fighters that may be bad matchups or may give him a hard time, like a Calvin Kader. I think if Gigachikazy was to fight Brian Ortega, I think he beats Brian Ortega. I think Gigachikazy beats um Seung-Jong. I think Gigachikazy beats a lot of most of these featherweights. I just think it's certain featherweights that is going to give him problems, like a Calvin Kader, like a Max Holloway. Those are difficult matchups for him, in my opinion. Um, because I think also Calvin Kader also he could switch stances too, which made it difficult too. So like Giga Chikadze would try to want to throw the body kick, but then Calvin Kader would switch his stance a little bit to make it a little bit difficult to I think he would try to go. Calvin Kader would try to avoid going southpaw. I believe. I think that was the sequence, and Giga Chikadze couldn't throw that it was the left kick to the body. I don't know. I watched it late. I watched it late night last night, but um, yeah, Calvin Kattar and Max Holloway are people that can give bad matchups and can stand switch and make it difficult to throw the body kicks, can stay in your face, can have the range and can have the poise to even though you're throwing. I think Gigachikazy threw some hard shots himself, but they just stayed with it and just stayed with the pressure and then just kept it on them. And I think Gigachikazy felt that a little bit, and especially in the middle of maybe like round 2, 3. I feel like Gigachikazy was feeling it, and then I thought Gigachikazy came well stronger in the later rounds. But in the fifth round, I think Kevin Kattar was able to finally overwhelm him enough and get a clear victory. Um, so yeah, I thought it was a good fight. I'm interested to see where they go next. But I think the main thing, really why it's titled this, is just how good is Max Holloway? Just how good is Max Holloway, man? Um, he is a guy that I think could be regarded as one of the best featherweights in the UFC history. Maybe even be all time one of the best UFC fighters of all time. Like just his skill level and what he can do. Um, to Giga Chikadze kept backing up all night. He needed more lateral movement. The wrestling may have tired Giga a little bit also. I think the wrestling played a fact. I don't know if it tired him per se, but I think it made him cautious of what Calvin Kattar was gonna come at with him with. Um, and I think Gigachikaze is good. I think he's okay moving off his back foot. But I think when he can't get the kicks off, the body kicks off, um, I think it does make it and in those moments where like Giga Chikadze was just throwing and Kader was just looking for those precise shots, like I was saying earlier, where it's like, yeah, you can see there's a clear difference in the striking a little bit with the hands, where Kader may seem a little more poised, more capable of looking for the cleaner shots. Where it's like Giga Chikadze was just trying to get him off of him. And I think when Giga Chikadze actually were able to slow it down a little bit, and they were actually able to stand still, I thought Giga Chikadze has his best moments where Giga Chikadze was able to land some jabs, was able to land. I think he landed a couple of 1-2s that stumbled or not stumbled, but caught Kamikaze's attention a little bit too. When the fight slowed down and they were able to stand still for a second, for a split second, I thought Giga Chikadze had some good moments. But I think Kamikaze was able to look for the cleaner shots, and when he landed and connected, and it made a difference. What was one thing that Giga didn't do that would have helped Giga get the win? I think Giga Chikadze. I think with him, I would love to see Giga Chikadze develop a wrestling game. I would love to see Giga Chikadze develop a wrestling game. I think that would be something that would benefit him, especially where if you're fighting Giga Chikadze, one of the things you gotta look out for is the kicks. Look out for the kicks. Look out for um, he's gonna go to the body, try to go to the head, right? The thing with that is when you fight guys like Calvin Kader, you fight guys like Max Holloway. I'm trying to think of somebody else, maybe Seung-Jong as well. Alexander Volkanovsky probably is on that list too. Where if they know that's the game plan, one of the things they're gonna do is try to get in your space, right? So they're not gonna give you any room to let you get those kicks off. They're not giving you any room to be able to be as technical as you want to be. So when Kader is coming in the space of Giga Chikadze, I would love to see if Giga Chikadze was able to level change, where he was able to throw a jab or throw something, and then try to go for a takedown of his own, right? To keep Kader honest, to where Kader may not want to be able to get too close on the inside with Giga Chikadze. You know what I mean? Muay Thai as well, like maybe getting the clinch a little bit in dirty box with Kamikaze, make him a little bit cautious getting on the inside. I think the thing with Giga Chikadze is once it's not that space is not there, then it becomes, well, he's going to be on his back foot, and then he has to try to react to what you're giving him. I think that's where Giga Chikadze's downfall is right now. Is I think if he is to develop or not develop, but able to add a clinch game to his arsenal in the fights, or add a grappling arsenal in his offense, I think he would give a lot people more hesitation to want to come on the inside, especially if you're just throwing and moving forward. I think Giga Chikadze, if he's able to level change, go for a takedown, I think it will make you a little bit honest, not to want to be decisive on how you want to get on the inside, and how much the gauge the distance to what you want to get to Giga Chikadze. You know what I mean? Like if Calvin pretty much just walked him down for the most fight. And all Giga Chikadze could do was try to react and throw straights, or try to throw a body kick, but those really weren't working in the later part of the fights as well. So, and then he was able to stuff takedowns. But I would love to see him do something with those as well. In the clinches, in those tight spaces, maybe throw some elbows too. If that's one thing I would say is the takedown and the clinch work. I would love to see him implement that. And I think it would have gave Kader more to worry about than just, he's going to throw body kicks, or, he's going to stand with you. We've seen Kader fight Max Holloway and what he could do with that. We've seen how tough he is, where he can walk you down, or he can be in that fray and that fire, and still be able to fight back. I think a wrestling game would have helped out Giga Chikadze a lot. So that's my one thing that I think would have helped Giga Chikadze. I think moving forward past Kader, because this is not going to be this Kader thing. It's going to be people going to look at this fight and see what Giga Chikadze weaknesses are. And right now, for me, my thing with Giga Chikadze was just how does he react with somebody pressuring him and moving forward, that has probably good boxing, like a Calvin Kader. And when you can't get off those clean kicks, those clean body kicks, those clean head kicks, what can you do? And then we've seen it. We've seen him deal with that adversity. And again, I think Calvin Kader landed the cleaner strikes, and I think he proved he's a better boxer overall. So yeah, that's the one thing I would say for Gigachikazy is the grappling and the grappling aspect. I think he may add that to his arsenal. I think that makes people want to not come on the inside as much, or make them hesitant to come on the inside. Yeah, so that's my thing with Gigachikazy. I think somebody like Yair Rodriguez would be interesting for him, but I think someone like a Sadiq Yusuf would be interesting. Somebody that likes to pressure forward, somebody that likes to grapple a lot. I think that'd be interesting for Gigachikazy. Did Kader's stance switching stop the body kicks, or was it the constant forward pressure from Kader? I think it was a little bit of both. There was a little bit of both. I think Kader's stance switching made it difficult for Gigachikazy to get a read on him. Right? I think that was also the case. You've seen a moment where Gigachikazy was trying to go for he uses left body kick, and complicated stance switched, and he's able to block it as well. I think it was like maybe the first round, second round. I believe that was. You see that, and I think the commentators, Michael Bisping, was great on this card, noted that, and was able to pick up on it and pick up on Calvin Kader switching his stance and making it difficult for Gigachikazy to get a read on him. Also, the constant pressure as well. The constant pressure added to that more. I think because if you can't really get those kicks off that Gigachikazy wants to do, if somebody is constantly in your face and making difficult for you to kick. And I think with Calvin Kader did a great job of getting in close, switching at the right moment, and again he made it a fight. He made it a fight, and I think the constant pressure on his back foot, Gigachikazy can land those perfect body kicks, or try to set up things to gotta go to the head. I think you know what? I'll add one more thing. What Gigachikazy could have done that could have helped. Go to the body. Go to the body. Not even. I think most of that fight was Gigachikazy trying to react to gotta go for straights to the head, or trying to go 1-2 or jabs. I think what Gigachikazy could have used was a couple of body shots. Which I think Calvin Kader did more with. I think he did more body shots. If I'm remembering the fight correctly, I think Calvin Kader did a good job with body shots. I think the body shots could have helped slow down Calvin Kader a little bit. What else? I would say knees up the middle, but then again, the takedowns would have been more accessible too. So that's out of the question. So I think body shots, and I think also just adding the takedown arsenal to his game plan would have helped him out a little bit. But yeah, I think I talked enough about Calvin Kader and Gigachikazy. Good fight. Good to see where they go from here. Other fights on the card. We had a close fight between Brennan Raval versus Reggio Bontario on Bontaron. Hope I'm saying the name right. Good split decision fight for Brennan Raval. Somebody that is looking to get back on the win column after losing to Brendan Moreno and then losing to Alexander Pantoja. He's back on the win column again. I thought it was a close fight, so it's hard for me to say who really won that fight, or who I think I can see an argument for both sides. Ruggiero landed most of the takedowns, but I think the striking leaned more towards Brendan Raval. Also, the submission attempts too. So it's a close fight. It's a close fight. Nobody didn't get screwed over in that fight. Yeah, I want you to see where Brennan Raval goes from here. For Rosario, I wonder if I wonder where he goes from here. 'Cause he now has three losses in a row and then one no contest. You know, so I'm interested to see where he goes from here. His last one was in 2019. Uh, so I'm interested to see where he goes from here. You know, that may be somebody to look out for in terms of just like maybe the UFC thinks what they're gonna do with it next. Um, so hopefully he sticks around. Hopefully he gets another shot. But it is an interesting look. This interesting worth noting that this is his third loss. He also has one over no contest, and you know, yeah, he's somebody to look out for. He's somebody to look out for. Other fights on the card. Uh, Caitlin Chukagian beat Jennifer Maya by decision. Jack Collier, I thought Jack Collier had a good showing. Jake Collier, sorry. Fast hands at heavyweight. Beating Chase Sherman by rear naked choke. That was good to see. Somebody like that. That's they say before at middleweight at one point, and now he's at heavyweight. Somebody look out for somebody that has a heavyweight that has fast hands. I was really impressed by his speed for heavyweight. So somebody definitely look out for in that heavyweight division. I'm not just looking through the card itself. Brian Kelleher, good win being Kevin Groom. Corey McGee getting a win, that was good. There's overall this card. I thought this card was a solid B. I thought it was a solid B. Some good fights on there. Some stuff that I probably won't come back to watch for the most part. The Kader and Gigachikazy fight for sure is worth watching again. I think for the first UFC card back, I think it's a solid card to watch. It's a solid card, so I'll give it a solid B. Flat Politics. Viewers watching in the comment section on VOD, you can definitely give your reaction in the comment section. Love to see what you guys thought. Now, the UFC has released a bunch of fights for the year of 2022 already. We already know that we got Seung-Jong versus Francis Ngannou coming up this week. We have Adesanya versus Whitaker 2 happening next month. We have a couple of matchups for the March and April card as well for pay-per-views. So you guys weren't aware, Max Holloway versus Volkanovsky was to be on the he said, I only watched the main event and I will give it an A+. Yeah, you know what? The main event was an A+ worthy. It was a good fight. It was a very, very good fight, good technical fight. Yeah, I see that. I remember the fight correctly. Not Adesanya. Aljamain Sterling versus Peter Yan was going to be on the March show. And then Volkanovsky was supposed to fight Max Holloway as the headliner for UFC 272. And Max Holloway got injured. I don't think they said what the injury was. But Max Holloway was out. And then the UFC had to scramble. And they decided to push Max Holloway versus, not Max Holloway. Gosh. Third time was the charms. Alex Volkanovsky fight to the UFC 273 in April, and then they wanted to put Peter Yan and Aljamain Sterling on the same card in April too. So that was the reason for that. And then the UFC was able to get probably one of the fights that people are anticipating. Jorge Masvidal versus Kobe Covington. And as a main event, no title on the line, no BMF, nothing of that sort. Just Kobe Covington versus Jorge Masvidal for UFC 272. Interesting to note. I think they were talking about possibly doing a tough for this fight. But they pushed it along and they put it here, which I think a tough would have been great for a television show that needs attention. I think that would have been great television to have Kobe Covington and Jorge Masvidal against each other. What's to say about this fight? Kobe Covington versus Jorge Masvidal is a good, interesting fight for sure. Right now, I don't know who I have winning that. if I'm in my guess, it'd probably be Kobe Covington, just because of the wrestling. I think the wrestling could give Jorge Masvidal some problems. Um, the volume too, I think, may give Corey Masvidal some problems too. Um, and he's no slouch on the feet. Kobe Covington is no slouch on the feet either. When he's all together, and he's dialed in, I think he's no slouch on the feet. I think Corey Masvidal, I lean more towards him with the power advantage, but just the volume of Kobe Covington, the grappling to worry about with Kobe Covington. I think that I would lean right now to Kobe Covington beating Corey Masvidal by unanimous decision. A good fight. Good fight. Interesting to see how that does. I think the UFC is going to promote that as Bad Blood, brothers turn enemies, and chronicle the rivalry of that. It's not what I'm most interested in. I'm more interested if they are going to do Nate Diaz versus Dustin Poirier. I think that's the fight I'm looking to see if that gets done, because I think that has many implications. I think if Justin Poirier is able to go to 170, I think you could see Conor McGregor fight Dustin Poirier in the future at 170. I think that also gives Dustin Poirier another shot at another belt at 170. Against somebody like Kamaru Usman, who needs challengers. I think Dustin Poirier being at 170 definitely adds a little bit more contenders that Kamaru Usman has to pick through. I think Dustin Poirier probably had the bigger name other than Jorge Masvidal and Kobe Covington, of course, who already got their shots twice, so they're not getting anyone anytime soon. So I think Dustin Poirier at 170 is interesting. Yeah, I think that's the fight. That's the fight everybody wants, is Nate Diaz versus Dustin Poirier. That could be a main event on the card by itself. You add that to a pay-per-view like a UFC 272 if they're able to get that done, or if they can do that for UFC 274, which I'll talk about in a second. That'll be interesting. Yeah, and in UFC 273, we have Volkanovsky fighting Seung-Jong, which everybody was clamoring for Henry Cejudo. I included was looking for Henry Cejudo. Cause I think that's a much better, more interesting fight than Seung-Jong. No disrespect to him, but I just think Seung-Jong, he is not on a momentum to say that he deserves a title shot. His last one is against Danny Ige. But before that, he lost to Brian Ortega. I would love to see. I would have loved to see Seung-Jong, get another win, or maybe, I don't know. The Henry Cejudo fight, I think, was there. I think people want to see Henry Cejudo get another title shot, and try to see if he can be a 3-weight champion. Then that'll be a great intrigue for people to watch. I think people love Henry Cejudo also, just what he's doing, both inside and outside the UFC. And I think with Alexander Volkanovsky, he kind of needs somebody to kind of continue to build his stock up himself. I feel like Alexander Volkanovsky is still underrated and underappreciated for the most part. And I think people don't haven't really caught on to Alexander Volkanovsky yet. I think everybody was behind Brian Ortega. Everybody wanted Brian Ortega to win. Everybody wants Max Holloway to win. I feel like Alexander Volkanovsky has yet to really grab the attention of UFC fans or MMA fans in general. as a fan, as maybe being a fan for people to watch. And Chan Seung-Jung is a fan favorite. People love the Korean Zombie. But I think Henry Cejudo would have been a better option. I think GC dropped the ball there with not doing that fight. Henry Cejudo obviously wants it. Alexander Volkanovsky has talked about it. I just don't understand why that fight the UFC didn't pull weight to try to get that done. And Dana White made the comment that Henry Cejudo can't come up a weight class and just get a title shot automatically. Well, what about people dropping down in weight like TJ Dillashaw, dropping weight and getting the flyweight title shot off the rip? What about Conor McGregor, where Conor McGregor is constantly still in talks of, hey, he could possibly fight for the welterweight title at one point against Kamaru Usman or this and that. What about you could go list, it goes on and on and on. We could look at fighters that either were champions or are popular names that is able to just slide right into a title picture just off their name value. How many times we've seen, somebody like, Nick Diaz, always in conversation is possibly fighting for a title shot, or if they win this one fight, they're right in there. There's a bunch of examples or things you could pull away from. John Jones, somebody that has not been proven at heavyweight, that is potentially is for the most part the most talked about thing is him going up to heavyweight and fighting for a title next. Not fighting anybody else before that. Not fighting Stipe. Not fighting any other heavyweights. He's going to fight for the title next. You could look at history and just see all that. But I just think the UFC dropped the ball by not doing Henry Cejudo. That would have been the fight to really get people's attention for UFC 273, especially. Sorry, UFC 272. No, 273. So I'm sorry. Especially where you're hiking up the pay-per-view prices. Pay-per-view is now, I believe, is going to be $80+ now. It's going to be $80+, where including tax, and it's getting hard to justify you putting on these cards and saying, "Hey, this is an $80 worth card." So I think the UFC has to try to find the right pocket to be able to put on fights that make sense, but also putting on fights that also deserves paying that $80 price point. Don't want to change the subject, but when you get a second, can you touch on Francis' promotion of his upcoming title defense? I haven't seen many videos where Francis promoted the fight. Okay, so that's part of what the prediction show is, and we pretty much touched on the what's the announcement, stuff like that. I will say though, I would admit here, I may be wrong. I thought Kamaru Usman was going to fight a Vicente Luque. I think that would have been the fight that the UFC would have ran with, but no, we're apparently going with Leon Edwards, which I was saying that wouldn't happen. So I feel like a fool. But again, the UFC changed their mind on a whim. So even the announcement, or even the supposed announcement, I could still see that changing like that. I could see that being on the May or June card. I could see that happening. And maybe you do, if Rosa Namajunas has enough time to heal. I think she got injured. Maybe do Kader Esparza and Rosa Namajunas on this card with potentially Kamaru Usman and Leon Edwards. Yeah, I think that's the next move. But yeah, UFC announcements that pretty much covered that. Do you want to change the subject? When you can say, I think it's telling. I think Francis Ngannou. Well, no. So Francis Ngannou. So Vlad Pod, he said, are you saying the UFC's promotion for Francis Ngannou, or are you talking about Francis Ngannou promoting the fight? I've seen Francis Ngannou promote the fight. If you could tell me in the chat whether you think it's the UFC promotion of Francis Ngannou, or is it Francis Ngannou promoting the fight himself? If it's Francis Ngannou, I think Francis Ngannou has done a great job promoting the fight so far. Um, and I think Francis Ngannou has. My question is, where's Cyril gone? I feel like Cyril gone. You talk about somebody that's not promoting the fight. I think Cyril Gane's not promoting this fight at all. If you didn't know that, if you didn't know they were former rivals, they were former training partners. Um, Francis is not promoting. I would disagree. I think Francis Ngannou is doing the most promotion. If I'm being honest, um, I think Francis Ngannou has been promoting this fight since the day it was announced. Here's why. I think that Francis Ngannou, the storyline is that quote unquote storyline just says the UFC is promoting it more than Francis. I disagree. I think somebody you should note in this is Cyril Gane and Cyril Gane's participation in promoting this fight. I think that's the one that's like that is doing more than Gane. Yes. Well, Gane is non-existent in this promotion. Gane is not even the focal point of this promotion. So and I hope the audio on this is okay. So I have a little bit of a cold. So Francis Ngannou had promoting this fight since the day it started. The UFC, for the most part, has been promoting this fight since the day it started. Cyril Gane has really done really less than anything to really promote the Sparta Sellers fight. To which again, I thought Cyril Gane being the champion it's gonna be hard for the UFC to get behind him and promote him as a champion or as a headliner. Um, he has done nothing to little about promoting this card. Um, Francis Ngannou, to go back to the original point, Francis Ngannou's promoting this card. Um, Francis Ngannou, the storyline is him in the UFC. And what the interesting part about this fight is what will Francis Ngannou do after the fight? Right, that's the intrigue in this whole entire thing. I think Francis Ngannou talking about the fight. I think talking about how they are former rivals. Um, Talking about the training video that is going out there, which training videos honestly never mean shit. Excuse my language. Um, I think Francis Ngannou talking about possibly going to boxing and fighting Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury then going over to promote the fight with and potentially talking about fighting Francis Ngannou in boxing or MMA. I'm sorry. Um, that's promoting the fight. That's getting people intrigued. That's selling people on wanting to see the outcome of this fight. Sorry. Um, that's the point. That's the point. Sorry for 1 second. Yeah, I think we haven't been on. I've been streaming since 2021 December. But I'm just coming off COVID. I'm just getting over COVID and dealing with that. So like my throat and stuff like that is still bothering me to this day. Um, but where was I? Sorry. But with Francis Ngannou, yeah, the promotion of him being fed up with the UFC and what he does next, or will he resign? Will he won't resign? Will he get what he wants from the UFC? Will he fight John Jones? Will he, fight Tyson Fury? Will he get more money? Like that's what's selling the fight, really, in this whole grand scheme of things. It's what is the result of the fight? It's not really on Cyril Gane anymore. It's more of Francis Ngannou versus the UFC. That's really the promotion of the fight. And I think the real question is how come Cyril Gane is not promoting the fight as well, and why is Cyril Gane not really helping, get more hype behind this fight? Because, and I think that the press conference is going to be very very interesting. Very interesting to watch this how Cyril Gane does in that environment and promoting the fight. I really didn't really dig him during Derek Lewis. I feel like Derek Lewis was the one people were coming to see. Same thing with this one. Cyril Gane is somebody that could potentially beat Francis Ngannou, right? So moving forward, how does Cyril Gane deal with being the person that's going to be head of the heavyweight division without a Francis Ngannou, without a Derek Lewis, without somebody like that? Have him stand beside Stipe Miocic and deal with that. and help him promote that way. You know, I think Cyril Gahn is somebody you really should know in promoting and not being as involved. But Francis Ngannou, I think Francis Ngannou has done a tremendous job with promoting this fight. Everything he's saying is getting more attention on what the outcome will be. The Tyson Fury talk, the money talk, will he go? Will he say? He even talked about how he after this fight he's not fighting for the same money that he's doing. He revealed how much it was. So he's drawing his line in the sand and saying, "Hey, if I win, this is not happening anymore. This has to change." And now as a fan, you want to see if he can actually win and what will happen. We want to see the chaos. We want to see what happens. When we're getting a little bit behind the scenes, and now we have to see the result of what happens live, and we're seeing a live gamble here with Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou is going to this fight, one fight left on his contract. If he beats Cyril Gahn, I believe his contract gets extended anyway. If he loses to Cyril Gahn, then Francis Ngannou is on the free market, and now Francis Ngannou is a free agent. That's the intrigue. That's what we want to see. Will we ever see John Jones versus Francis Ngannou? Will we ever see Francis Ngannou fight Stipe for the third time? Will we ever see Francis Ngannou fight Tyson Fury? Francis Ngannou is the promotion. Period. He is his future and everything that revolves around Francis Ngannou is why this fight is important. Cyril Gahn is not important in this fight. If a regular fan wouldn't even know Cyril Gahn is a champion, just how little he's been promoted or doing promotion. So I've seen Cyril Gahn's trainer do more press than Cyril Gahn. So to answer your question, yes, I think Francis Ngannou is doing a tremendous job. I disagree. I think he's doing a tremendous job with promoting this fight. And I think the intrigue is there with what will happen after the fight. That's for me as a person that is going to recommend whether you should buy something or not. I will say if I was trying to convince you to buy something, I think the fact of Francis Ngannou and what his future will be, and the live gamble that you're going to see on Saturday, I think that is a selling point. It's just what will happen, what is going to happen, what could happen. Like those are the selling points there. So that's my take on that. But yeah, we've done about 50 minutes plus on this stream. But I'm glad to be back. Glad to be doing a reaction with you guys and talking about this stuff. Please like the stream. You see the name here at Tyriece Simon. You can follow me on Twitter as well. Follow me on Facebook at Tyriece Simon. See some stuff I'm doing there. And I'll have a prediction show. Try to have that up by tomorrow, around this time, 10 a.m. And we'll be doing a reaction show. I'm gonna see if I could grab a line, see if we could do a reaction show next Sunday, around 10 o'clock as well. As for the weekly shows, I'm still trying to figure that out. As soon as I get confirmation on this other thing, then I can know exactly what my schedule is going to be like moving forward, because that would mean I'm on stream. That means I'm online a lot more. I'm able to do a lot more, and I'm able to I can access a lot of things a lot more too. I'll say that. I have more tools to work with. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, overall, glad to be back, and what a way to start UFC, the year with Kader and Gigachikazy. What a fight! And now we move on to Cyril Gahn and Francis Ngannou. What could happen is the thing for me, and I can't wait to see if Francis Ngannou could do it. I can't wait to see if you do it. So definitely check out the prediction show. Me and Elijah went extensive on how, why, what can happen with Francis Ngannou and Cyril Gahn, and yeah, we give a deep dive on just what we think can happen in this fight, and just why we think what we think will win. I'll tell you this right now: we're both on the same page of exactly who wins. But you have to tune in and see who we had, and we'll give a valid reason as to why too. So definitely check it out. But yes, all right, good enough stream. Thank you, Flathead, for joining on. Thank you guys for watching on VOD. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Like the stream if you can. Follow me out on Twitter, on Facebook as Tyriece Simon. And yeah, man, I'll be back. Signing off. My name is Tyriece Simon. And this has been my reaction